Closer.
This isn't school. You don't get to sit back. Everybody come
I
on.
want you to be with us. Come around all the way
Keep
around.
moving a little further up.
Please come gather all around.
Everybody come up, please.
It's not a performance, it's a sharing.
It's interactive.
What have you here?
Interactive. No, closer.
Come on, everybody.
Nice.
If I speak too loud, I'll spit when I talk.
Come in here. Come closer, Lindsay.
So we're gathered here because these two young people have decided to get married, and before, trust me. So Alyssa and Morgan asked me to be the celebrant for this, and I thought that was very interesting because I had no idea what a celebrant was, and so I decided to look it up, and and Alyssa said, just do a little speech, and then we'll say our vows, and just do a little speech. That was the direction I was given. So I thought to myself, how long a speech do you give? What do you do? And I remembered the very famous quote from Winston Churchill when they said, how long should a speech be? And he said, a speech should be like a woman's dress. It should be long enough to cover the subject, yet short enough to remain interesting. And having had no experience whatsoever with marriage myself, I decided to go to the most informed source about marriage, and that was Google.com. And I took a look at Google, and surprisingly enough, there was a lot there. Socrates was the very first thing that came up, and Socrates said about marriage, by all means marry. If you have a good wife, you will become happy. If you have a bad wife, you'll become a philosopher. And then right under Socrates was Groucho Marx, who said that marriage is a wonderful institution, but who wants to live in an institution, right? Exactly. I think James Bourne took a very pragmatic approach and said a dress that zips up the back will always bring a husband and wife together.
She's got nothing in here. And a bow.
Especially a train that you can pop off, right? Exactly. And then Anne Tyler Fleming said, I think was very nice, a long marriage is two people successfully dancing a duet and two solos at the same time.
Sometimes three solos.
But after I read through all that, I decided to ask Alyssa and Morgan why they were getting married. After a while, they'd been living together for 3 years, and why now, after all this time, would you decide to get married? And Alyssa, I tricked you. And I asked them separately so they couldn't cheat on the answer. And Alyssa said, of course, that she loved Morgan, and she said that marriage at this age is very different. When you're young, you feel that you need that piece of paper, you need that to kind of anchor you and kind of get that weight behind you. But at this age, it's about comfort, and it's the fact that there is no obligation, that she felt good about getting married because there was no obligation to get married. I asked Morgan why. Morgan was a little more direct.
Yes, what did he say?
Morgan said,
It's not too late.
Morgan said, I love Alyssa. Alyssa wants to get married, and I will do anything to make Alyssa happy. Which, the idea was to see if I can get them going. And okay, well then that kind of led me to one of my favorite quotes I saw online, which was from the movie Gigi, which said, instead of getting married at once, it sometimes happens that people get married at last. So that takes us to Keon is going to come up here and do a little, some words that we put together.
Should we step off the stage?
No, I think you should stand right where you are. Be the center of attention.
Don't worry.
Come on, take the celebrant spot.
Really? All right. So,
Not in my life.
Alyssa asked me to read this because it's from a play that a recent play that we did called My Big Gay Italian Wedding, and she loved it so much that she would like me to read it to all of you. Okay. When you love someone, you do not love them all the time, in exactly the same way, from moment to moment. It's an impossibility. It is even a lie to pretend to. And yet, this is exactly what most of us demand. We have so little faith in the ebb and flow of life, of love, of relationships. We leap at the flow of the tide and resist in terror its ebb. We are afraid it will never return. We insist on permanency, on duration, on continuity, when the only continuity possible in life as in love is in growth, in fluidity, in freedom, in the sense that the dancers are free, barely touching as they pass, but partners in the same pattern. The only real security is not in owning or possessing, not in demanding or expecting, not in hoping even. Security in a relationship lies neither in looking back to what was in nostalgia, nor forward to what might be in dread or anticipation, but living in the present relationship and accepting it as it is now. Relationships must be like islands. One must accept them for what they are here and now, within their limits. Islands surrounded and interrupted by the sea, and continually visited and abandoned by the tides.
And then from my big Italian wedding to the opposite end of the spectrum, I think Claire is going to come up here and give us a little Shakespeare. Give us a little Shakespeare.
This is a special, I hope, a special little gift for you, if I can read it.
I've got a second set if you need.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love that alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on star and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
And, now I think we come to the part of the show that we've all been waiting for, and that, for them to take their vows to each other. I think it's interesting that both made the point that it wasn't about the marriage certificate, that's just a piece of paper, but they wanted all of you people, or people who have touched them, to be here at a ceremony at their house for them to take their vows with each other. Morgan.
Dearest Alyssa, today is a very special day. Today you're my wife. When we first met each other, we did not realize that we would eventually arrive here. It has not always been an easy journey, but we are standing here today as husband and wife. I still remember when we first started dating after that crazy, crazy night.
See, YouTube.
I remember how we felt so natural together. I remember how I so enjoyed being close to you, how I was drawn to you, how I so needed to be close to you. As we both spent more time together, we both realized how we just seemed to fit together. When I went back to Beijing, you thought that we had just had a fun fling, and that probably that was the end of a pleasant time together. However, I was a changed man. I knew that I wanted us to be together. I knew that I needed us to be together. There was no big drama. There was no big revelation. We were just meant to be together, so I came back to Hong Kong to be with you. I have a very simple promise to make to you. As your husband, I pledge to do everything in my power to make you happy. That's all I want. I want you to be fulfilled. My darling Alyssa, you are my beautiful, bright, shining light, and I love you.
You may kiss the bride.
What I have to say just really pales in comparison. Make it up. Oh, so I don't know. So I put together, I had to ask myself, what does marriage mean to me, because it's so late in life that we're doing this. Like, why do it? And I can't read any of the things I wrote.
Tissue?
So, what does marriage mean to me? It means having the courage to stand up in front of witnesses and commit yourself to the one you love. It means caring respectfully and absolutely for that person's feelings. It means dedicating yourself to the idea that you will be together into old age, which for Morgan is not going to be that much of a wait.
Not that old.
I have to say that. It means I can't read it. Being completely open and honest with that person without fear. So those are the 4 things I thought of, and then I think, and I realized that what I think is that marriage is ultimately a bond of trust and devotion. So Morgan, I give you my trust, my kindness, and my unwavering support. We have been through a lot together already, and yet here we are. You and I alone know how powerful this is. So I go into this relationship with open eyes and an open heart. I love you. I'm yours.
So I think it's easy to understand love at first sight, but how do we explain love after 2 people have known each other for so many years? And I'd like to read one of my favorite poems by E. Cummings. I can read in the slide. I carry your heart. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my love. I want no world, for beautiful, you are the world, my true. And it's you, or whatever a moon is always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing, is you. Here is the deepest secret that nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud. And the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And that this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart. And that's it. Everybody goes back to
Right, let's go get drunk.
Thank you all for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Now
much for
go eat and drink and be merry. And that's
I don't know if you want that. After the rice and the bugs and everything. But.
Thank you, though.
So sweet.